Good evening, everybody, and welcome to XLNC's July Mid-Testing Grounds Invitational. I am Paul, and I'm pleased to be joined by Smacks here, and we're going to talk about some pregame here.
Yeah, we absolutely are. The July Mid-Testing Ground Invitational. We got 8 teams with us tonight. Going to be playing some sick League of Legends here, Paul. I'm pretty excited to be getting into the gameplay. You guys already saw it on the screen. Our first matchup is going to be Glacial Esports versus Glaive White, 2 teams that were invited. Of course, it's an invitational. All the teams got invited. But these 2 teams are invited. We got Glacial Esports as the first seed and Glaive White as the 8th. So there's some pretty big upset potential here for Glaive, but we're definitely expecting Glacial Esports to take this one for sure.
Yeah, we're definitely expecting that, and to make the case for Glaive, I mean, it's a fairly new roster, but they did replace, so the roster only formed on July 1st, but they already subbed in got in a new top and jungle that have played together, so that synergy could pay off here if they would find something early on.
They got the name synergy too. They both have the GLV in their name, so you can tell that these guys are no slouch on Glaive White. But yeah, brand new team, 3 weeks old. Yeah, well, I'm excited to see what they can do. I believe we talked about it earlier, and the reason that they are lower seed is because they did forfeit out of something. So it wasn't because they actually had their Nexus explode; they exploded it themselves. So that could mean that these guys are better than their seeding shows.
Yeah, they could be a dark horse here for sure. And the case for Glacial, they're number 1 seed for a reason, you know?
Yeah.
So
I'm really excited to get into this game. I believe we are quite ready for it, as I think we're going to be sending it over to our casters in a little second here.
yeah, absolutely. So we're going to be passing off here to Axeman 87 and Finnick with the action for game 1, and we'll be back here to break it down afterwards. So we'll see the casters here.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for that introduction. That is, of course, Smacks and Paul. My name is Finnick. Joining me on the desk today is Axeman87, and we're into picks and bans for the first match of the night, Glaive White versus Glacial Esports. First ban away will be the Graves as the Syndra gets banned out by Glacial.
And I'm excited tonight, Finnick. What's up, guys? Axeman87. Like everyone has already mentioned, you probably already figured out, it's Glaive White, Glacial Esports, and we are into the draft. I like this Olaf band, Finnick. Absolutely fantastic look here. People sleep on Olaf, I feel. He's a very strong jungler and can really carry your comp through the early game, I would say. So a lot of jungle priority already from Glaive White, just looking to really shut down Glacial in that area of the map.
Yeah, and on top of that, right, we see the Senna and the Syndra being banned away by Glacial. Senna, of course, is still fallen off from priority. However, Glaive White has still put some priority towards that in the bot lane, as we see Silas and Ezreal being the last bans of the first rotation. Glaive to first pick here. A couple power picks are available right now in the set, still fairly powerful, alongside the Ornn potentially, or safe first picks. Could be an ADC or a jungler, though. Probably going to be one of those. I'm going to guess the Aphelios if it's an ADC. He seems to be the highest priority one that's available. Instead, it's the blind Orianna first pick.
Yeah, and this is a little strange for us here. I mean, I'm taking a look at Glaive White right now. Toast is their highest rated player by far in the Diamond 4 rank there. And yeah, to first pick Orianna is a little strange. I feel like Orianna is really a counter pick to a lot of mid laners. So maybe this will be flexed in the support role, and this is a draft trick more than anything else. But it is going to be Ornn first pick for Glacial Esports. And this is a great first pick. I mean, it's just solid blind. Ornn doesn't have any bad matchups. And already Glacial coming out swinging in this draft. Karma, I feel a competent flex pick as well. I'm not really sure where many of these champions are going yet, Finnick.
Yeah, Karma is one of those champions that can be flexed top, mid, or support. Typically seen in support nowadays, especially comboed with the likes of the Aphelios or the Kog'Maw. Very good in a protect the ADC sense. Can put a lot of harass down with the Ezreal, but the Ezreal's already been banned away. Can pick up with MF as well if you really want to. Ashe will be picked up by Glaive White alongside the Volibear. Volibear, of course, flex top jungle. Ashe, of course, the AD carry, unless there is some shenanigans, but I doubt that is the case. Is Glacial the pick here? Should be the ADC pick.
Yeah, and I'd have to agree here. You already have the Ash up, so yeah, they're going to be going for Varus here. And I believe this is going to be Zelandis on Glacial's ADC. No, he's the support. It's Epic Fail guy in the ADC role. I've only ever seen Zelandis on ADC, so I'm not really sure how his support is. But yeah, it's Epic Fail guy here. Does have quite a bit of Varus games, so this should be a pretty good one for us. But I think with the Varus pick, it's probably Karma support. How do you feel about that, Vinnick?
Probably. Pokeswell with the Varus, especially with the Mantra Q, has the ability to sustain her stealth in lane with the Mantra W, and of course, not able to actually give heals to Varus, but he's very fine against the Ashe anyway, just has to play around his own minions and should be able to outpoke, assuming this is the Comet Varus, which when you're up against Ashe is pretty typical. However, there is already a Volibear on Glaive White side, so we might see on-hit come out if needed. Hecarim being hovered here for Glacial Esports. It's a jungle pick that we don't quite see a lot of in the upper echelons of play, but Glacial Esports has picked that one before and it will be locked in.
Yeah, they lock it in here. More of a comfort pick than anything else, which is fine for a game one of a best of three. This is best of one, though, folks, so you only get one shot. They have decided Hecarim is the best shot for them to take. The Ashe Braum lane will come out for Glaive White, and this is a very solid lane so far. Ashe provides a lot to a team that a lot of ADCs don't, and it's all in the utility, right? All in the slows, the vision, the stun on ultimate ability. It's nonstop fun, and Braum does. I mean, it just enables it, right? I mean, you have the stun passive, and that definitely helps the lane out quite a bit. Fiora rounds out the comp for Glaive White.
Interesting to see a blind Fiora. Obviously, if you want to split push, that's fine, but you're typically seeing Fiora being used as a counterpick to set in this meta. It's not actually blind because there is an Ornn on the enemy team, but that still could be flex support. You could see Karma top, which is a very good matchup into the Fiora. Veigar being picked up for the mid lane though for Glacial Esports. The only potential flex is between the top and bot lane, or top and supports here, which we will see once we get into the in-game draft. How are we feeling, guys?
So I feel Veigar has picked into a counter here if Orianna goes mid, and I feel she probably has to. So I'm not really solid on this Veigar pick. I'll go ahead and mention I don't know too much about this matchup, but I'm not confident in the Veigar pick.
Yeah, it seems like it's really just a pick for late game, especially when you have a Varus on your team that is probably going to go for poke Varus. You don't really have too much on the weight of late game damage, even when you have the Ornn, because Varus just doesn't like many of the ornaments when he's going for the poke Varus with the Arcane Comet, which once again is the assumption here. I think that's probably going to be the case because he's up against Nash, and there really isn't too much in the way of tanks on the way of Glaive White. You have Braum, you have Volibear, but they're not really super tanky going into that mid game. However, once again, this Veigar pick, late game damage, but it's a very tough lane for him up against the Orianna, especially if he goes for the Glacial Augment. He's just not going to have enough wave clear. So we'll see how that one turns out. However, in the top lane here, it will be the Fiora versus the Ornn, so no tricky flexes here. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, to be honest, as like vis-a-vis every single Ornn matchup, Ornn doesn't really need to win this. He just kind of needs to survive it with a hard inting, hard feeding Fiora. I don't think there's going to be too many fireworks in this top lane. You kind of have both some tank junglers that I don't think are going to be looking for a gank top lane. If anything, maybe Demon goes top to try and get Dibble ahead a little bit here. But, beyond that, I don't think you go for too much in the top side of the map. Down the bot side, you have some pretty strong lane ADCs down there. You have the Ashe, you have the Varus. I feel like you try and play around the bottom side of the map, just going for the classic Season 10 Elemental Dragon win. But, yeah, I mean, you have these scaling mid laners as well. So, yeah, I just can't see too much going on in this top lane.
Yeah, and speaking of the jungle pressure, right, you have a Volibear versus a Hecarim. Volibear, of course, probably going to go for full tank in the jungle. We don't see the Black Cleaver build all that often as far as jungle Volibear goes. It's typically like a top lane thing. However, Hecarim probably going to go for the Warrior enchant here and try to take over some of this early tempo. And you mentioned the bot lane here. Do you think that's going to be the game plan here for Glacial?
For Glacial, yeah, I would say so. And once again, they picked some interesting champions, not 100% on Hecarim, but yeah, I think you have to play around the bottom side of the map. And, I just mentioned that I'm not like big on the Vigar pick, so I'm having trouble in my mind thinking what Hecarim is necessarily going to do, because I'll tell you, for almost any jungler in the game, Ashe Braum is a really rough gank. That is not a lane you want to be ganking on. I'm just not sure where else Hecarim's going to go. I guess the easiest option for him would be to try and get onto Orianna and trying to get on Fiora, but he has like some really rough setup in those lanes from the Aura and the Vigar, and I can't see him really going for either of those options. So maybe Hecarim just kind of tries to like hard farm, focus objectives. I don't think that's something Hecarim likes to do, but it might be the best case scenario here for him.
Yeah, no, appears I had the names incorrect on the thing. No, they were not incorrect. That was... Someone lied to me in the chat. All right. Lies. Lies. The names were swapped, but not the logos themselves. So that is not a lie in chat. I'm just dumb. That said, Glaive White here. We talked about, they have some very safe lanes. They have the Ashe. They have the Orianna as well. What do you think their game plan is for this early and mid game?
For Glaive, you basically just try to scale up, much the same as Glacial here. You have the Ashe, you have the Orianna. I feel like you have the fast lane here in terms of bot lane priority. In terms of dragon control, I feel like Volibear is just a better jungler than Hecarim is. He also has a little bit easier of a gank here. The Varus and Karma, not nearly as oppressive as Ashe and Braum are in the 3v3. So yeah, Demon definitely has the priority on these dragons, has a much easier gank, especially in the mid lane. I mean, so many champions, so many junglers really would have a hard time ganking Vigar. Once Demon hits level 6, that's the easiest gank there is, man. You just jump right through the cage and it's over for Skiz. So yeah, at Glaive, they have a fantastic comp. I feel like with Glacial being the first seed in this tournament, they would definitely have to upset this game. They're in a great position to do so.
Yeah, and once again, powerful picks right now. Volibear, obviously, is still very high in priority. Has, of course, risen since his rework to be one of these premier top jungle flexes that we see all the time in mid to high elo amateur. Meanwhile, Ornn still not out of the meta quite yet. Varus still not out of the meta quite yet. Ashe still not out of the meta quite yet. I feel like I'm a broken record here, but we have these champions that have been on the cusp of leaving the meta, but they're still in here being picked up. That said, I do think Glaive, while they do have a better late game and they have an obvious 4-1 split push condition, I'm just not sure how their laning phase is going to go beyond even, right?
Yeah, definitely. And that is an issue with so many laners right now. It's all about late game scaling, unless you're a jungler in Season 10 at the moment. So, yeah, a lot of lanes are pretty much up in the air. I feel like Toast on Ashe normally has such a great laning phase, but like we already talked about, Varus kind of throws a wrench into that, right? So, how this laning phase is going to go, definitely not decided. I would say the only lane that's really decided here for me is probably the Orianna Vigar lane. I really feel Orianna just hard wins this lane. Something very bad has to happen for this Orianna to lose this lane. I'm gonna go ahead and say.
I mean, we could obviously see something not equal to Glacial Vagar, and then they just try to snowball mid-game there. Like, I think that might be a possibility, or obviously they could go for the late-game Varus option with the lethal tempo. We are now loading into the game. I've not loaded in completely yet, so I'm not going to swap over there, but this does give us an opportunity to take a look at the runes. Veigar going the Glacial Augment, Varus going the Arcane Comet, Unsealed Spellbook on the Ornn. Otherwise, nothing too out of the ordinary from any of these laners. PTA on the Volibear, Hecarim with the Conqueror alongside the Fiora, Orianna with the Phase Rush, and Lethal Tempo Ashe, Guardian, Braum, and Aerie Karma. We're about to get in the game.
Yeah, we're loading in here in just a little bit, but I just want to say I don't hate Arcane Comet Varus, the lethality build or anything. I think it might be a misplay here. I mean, you have the Braum, you have the bear, Polar Bear there. That is a crazy looking skin, but these are champions that are going to try and tank up, and you know, the Arcane Comet, the lethality isn't going to work as well on them. So might have wanted to go on-hit build. I think just in general, on-hit is better anyway. I think the lethality kind of had its day, but might be a little bit out of the meta here. It all depends if you can hit those arrows, though. And if you hit a bunch of arrows, you can take down the tanks just as well as you can those squishier targets. So this is definitely all about landing the skill shots for Epic Fail Guy. We'll have to see how he does. Does have cleanse here, and it is going to be exhaust for his support, so no heal in that bot lane. Something we see a little bit more often now than we did in patches gone by, but I gotta say I'm still not in love with it. I really do prefer the old heal ignite build.
Yeah, that said, it does make sense when you're up against an Ashe and a Braum. Obviously, Braum just goes ahead and hits his Q on you, and then Ashe hits Q, and then all of a sudden you're stunned up. We are now into game. On the blue side, it is Glaive White. Dibble in the top lane, Demon in the jungle, Stro 2 in the mid lane, Toast and AD carry, and Orion in support.
Yeah, and over here on the red side for you, it is Glacial Esports with Joey Dess in the top side on Ornn. In the jungle position is Chihuahua Dog on Hecarim. Mid lane, Skiz, Vigard. Down in the bot lane, it's Epic Fail Guy on Varus. And on Karma in that support role, it is going to be Zelandis.
Yeah, and I think, as you said, right, Glacial Esports wanting to play about the bottom side of the map here, has the ability to do that with the Poke Varus, with the Arcane Comet. However, it is a very difficult gank to set up for Hecarim, especially if the Braum and Ashe are positioned correctly in lane. However, if they overextend, Chihuahua Dog is only a ghost away, and it looks like we're looking for a potential counter invade from the side of Glaive White, trying to punish the ward Chihuahua Dog wants to find. He'll get the ward down, and not going to be
punished
taken
himself. Down. Yeah, that took a lot of damage there. I'm wondering if Orion's going to go for the back or just try to heal that up, because that was quite a bit of damage, and it was all blind too. Epic Fail Guy's land is hitting that damage. I don't think they had vision of Orion there, but they definitely knew somebody was in the bush, and it is going to be both junglers starting the bot side of the map here. This is fairly standard, I would say. Could be a bit of a misplay from Chihuahua, depending on how he plays out, how he clears past here. If he just goes for like a normal type clear, just kind of 3 camps and up to the topside scuttle, I think that's going to be bad for him, because then you end up fighting Volibear over that scuttle, and that is not a great position to be in for the Hecarim. Hecarim has very low base resistances, so those early 1v1s can be super rough for him. If he goes for a full clear into bot side scuttle, he could be fine though.
Yeah, and we see Glaive going ahead and ending up losing out on some of these early trades in the bot lane. Of course, Karma with the Mantra Q can just make Orion and Toast very unhappy, especially with the Unbreakable down. We see the level 2 advantage go over to the Varus Karma as he puts down a piercing arrow. Meanwhile, on the top lane, though, Dibble starting to get a small CS lead on Joey Dess, kind of expected when you pick up Fiora into an Ornn. Once again, I'm mildly upset they didn't flex the Karma top. I feel like that's actually a really good Karma lane, but here I am with my degenerate top lane Karma strats.
Yeah, and they're well-founded. I'm not sure how well it would be Orion down in the bot lane, or excuse me, Zelandis down in the bot lane on Ornn. I guess Ornn support is a thing, but maybe not my favorite thing. Anyway, it is going to be Skiz in the mid lane, starting to get those stacks up. He's running out of mana here, though, Finnick. Got to be careful. Can't be running out of mana into an Orianna. That is a bad time. Demon looking for the gank. might just be trying to find Chihuahua here. Yeah, he's going for the scuttle. Meanwhile, Chihuahua is just fully clearing both sides of the jungle, looking for as early a jungle item as he can get. And maybe Demon Div will go for the dive here. We'll have to see.
They don't have the wave for this, so it'll be a very risky dive if they decide to go for it. Instead, it looks like Demon's just going to sniff out what the heck has done in his red side.
This is a dream 1v1 for Demon on Volibear, and Chihuahua's actually getting so close to him, man. He's like, they're literally right behind each other. This is going to be the most insane
Chihuahua
counter
Dog with the
gang.
goes. The cage lands. He's back into the cage, and that'll be first blood going over to the Hecarim. The flash already came out from Demon to trade. Jungler for mid laner. Flash down on Demon. As Stro 2, gotta respect that ghost coming out. I feel like the flash not being burnt there was a slight mechanical misplay.
Yeah, I would say that's probably correct. You gotta use it. You can't take it with you. And yeah, unfortunate for Demon there. He knew. Part of him knew, but he gave up too early and was not able to get the counter gank off in time. But he does pick up the kill. And like I mentioned, I mean, Chihuahua went directly into the ground, right? This is a 1v1 that Chihuahua has exactly zero chance at. So we're talking about Demon being able to pick up Dragon as soon as it comes up in 20 seconds. That should be fairly simple for him. And unless there's some kind of priority coming out of Glacial Esports, it's going to be uncontested, I would imagine anyway. But we'll have to check on the pathing. Yeah, Demon's running directly for this Dragon. Up at the top lane, some actually pretty heavy trading going down. It is Joey. It's starting to run out of mana, so that's not great for him. That's really one of the only resources that will force an Ornn back. You can start to build some mana items, but it only helps so much at the end of the day. And we'll see if he takes the reset here. He's actually using the mana quite liberally. And he's building an item now. See what he builds.
Gonna guess
picking
the
up the Bramble Vest. Okay.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense here. Fiora able to get some nice Conquer healing down in lane in particular, so being able to reflect on the damage, apply the greatest wounds, always feels very nice when you're up against other bruisers. I will assume that Joey Dust will just hold on that Bramble Vest for now and then build into the Sunfire Cape, most likely, and then obviously into the Abyssal Mask and level 13 and ornaments and all that. Meanwhile, Demon actually able to take the first dragon uncontested. Chihuahua Dog just nowhere to be found on that bottom side of the map, instead invading and getting punished for it.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like this is probably Chihuahua Dog playing the situation the best he can. You can't contest against Volibear. He's going for the top lane gank here. Nope, not gonna fight that one either. Yeah, there's just not too many fights that Hecarim can take unless he like really is setting up for somebody with a ton of damage. It's really just mid lane that he has a chance at ganking. And in that respect, he needs a lot of damage coming out of Skiz, and a lot of that damage from Vigar this early in the game is super unreliable. So, like we already talked about a little bit in draft, Chihuahua Dog just does not have any great gank opportunities right now. That first blood is probably the best he's going to get. Demon in the top lane.
Demon Caruana, Joey Dest will end up still getting healed down by the W. Joey Dest has level 6. Call the Forge God available, but he's already taken down as Dibble picks up the kill off the back of a grand challenge.
Yeah, so Demon sets up Dibble a little bit here, and it's probably fine. I mean, they're shutting down Joey a little bit and setting him back a little bit. You know, those Ornn items are coming eventually, though. And I think getting Dibble ahead is a noble goal. However, you had a great gank opportunity in the bottom side of the map there on Epic Fail Guy and Solandis, which is a much more more viable win condition, I would say, for the enemy team. So maybe take a look at ganking that next time. It is 30 seconds of Rift Herald, though, so Demon's just going to kind of stick around in this area and see if he can pick that up. Ooh, arrow going wide in the bot lane. Epic Fail Guy. We talked about this being really the win condition for him, is nailing those arrows just on cooldown. Can't be missing those, right?
Yeah, it's one of those cases where you just gotta go for some of these arrows, but especially when you're up against a Braum, maybe ensure that your arrows are always gonna hit their mark and there's no shenanigans with the stand behind me into an unbreakable. Dibble gonna back here and TP back in the lane with the completed Tiamat and starting to work towards the Phage. Of course, very good item on Fiora, dashing forward onto Joey Des, and getting quite a bit of trade damage down. Obviously, that Bramble Vest does help Joey Des a little bit, but with the regen you get off of the Tiamat, it's definitely not as terrible for the Fiora.
Yep, and Demon taking a very long time to solo Rift Herald there. He's only backed once, so he literally has jungle item and Ruby Crystal, so not taking these objectives very quickly at all. But he is taking them.
Enchanted Crystal Arrow for a flash. That's worth.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, the cooldown on Enchanted Crystal Arrow obviously shorter than Flash, so definitely worth in that respect, I would think. But yeah, nothing coming out of that trade. Stro is going to walk over to the blue buff and pick that up. I believe both mid laners now have blue buff from their junglers.
Skiz took the wrong rune for his build.
Oh, did he? Did he?
He's building Luden's Echo. He should have taken Comet here. That's a slight misplay as we see the Chains of Corruption letting onto Arana into the W from the Karma. Chihuahua Doug coming in to steal the kill away from his ADC as Toast was already out of that fight. Nice little bit of a chain CC from Epic Fail Guy and Xylandis as the game goes even in kills. Slight gold lead still over to Glaive White though.
So he's building Ludens, not GLP. Okay, interesting.
He's building Ludens unless he just bought a blasting wand for no reason.
Well, that is a little concerning there. Skiz now pathing for the top lane, looking for a gank.
It's good
this
if you.
Is going to be huge.
It's good if you have Karma, but if you're using, you're just not getting the most out of the room. Dibble able to dodge that one out to Skiz, looking for the cage. We'll find it on a Dibble flash over. Just got to respect the damage there, and Dibble burns the flash. Skiz grabbing one for himself. Will be able to back after about 200 gold to complete the Luden's Echo. Once again, it's just not synergistic with the rune at all. Xylandis gets a nice route down onto Orion, but Orion should be able to make his way out. And turret plate in the mid lane, going over to the Glaive support, actually.
It's going to be the dive in the bot lane.
Here comes the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Clans comes out. Here comes the dunk into the shockwave as Stro picks up the kill. Orion, meanwhile, pops a Glacial Fissure on a Chihuahua Duck. He already popped the ultimate. There he goes, still stunned up though. Stro 2 might be looking for a bit of damage as Orion uses a stand behind me to get out of the cage. Will be a 1-for-0 on the bot lane as the Rift Herald gets channeled. That is a really nice Rift Herald call from Glaive here.
Oh, it's fantastic. Everything about this play from Glaive is absolutely amazing. It's exactly what they need. Keep playing around objectives, keep playing around the bot side of the map. That was a fantastic dive from Demon gank in the mid lane.
Flash in, cage onto Stro, but it'll be very patient. Ignite goes down, stun lands from Orion. Here comes Demon, flash forward, gets the W off Skiz, gets taken out very low by the command attack, command dissonance, and they'll let the Orianna take the auto attack for the kill. 2-1 is Stro 0-2 after giving up first blood in that mid lane.
Yep, Chihuahua looking for Toast, just does not have the movement speed, does not have the target access quite yet. I don't think he had ult up either. Yeah, ult being on cooldown gives him a little bit less target access there. And yeah, this is going to be Demon looking for vision control on the Dragon. They weren't able to take the objective quite yet. They have Orion in the area, but I don't think they have the priority for this with Stro sticking to the mid lane.
Yeah, one plate remains in the bottom lane with 2 minutes left to grab that for the Ashe. Meanwhile, Stro took the second to last plate in the mid lane. So looking for some fun times as Orion. A bit of trouble here from Epic Fail Guys. Arrow Stro 2 running over, gets a command attack, command dissonance down on Demon. Skiz gets taken out very low, but he will be able to stay alive for the time being. Volibear trying to chase, smites him, gets the auto attack, heals up a little bit off of the W, heal coming back from the Ashe with the Summoner heal. He's still alive as Orion able to tank up the damage. Double kill for Demon off the Enchanted Crystal Arrow and the follow-up CC. Joey Des, meanwhile, has the call to Forge God. He's stunned up, he can't get the second proc. The triple kill for Demon!
I can't believe it, and now they are pushing towards the Dragon. Demon says, guys, Panicle, hello. The rest of his team is trying to push down mid lane, and I think it is going to be Glaive with the disengage here. They will not continue this fight. That was a very disconnected triple kill, and wow, Demon plays that so well there, Fennec.
And on top of that, Dibble is just pushing top lane like a Fiora wants to. So they're able to get plates top lane. They're able to get another turret plate in the mid lane. Look at the plate situation. 2 up in the top lane, 2 up in the mid lane, 1 in the bot lane. We're about to lose the last plate top. Glaive, Dibble should be able to get first tower pre-14 on this Fiora, as Joey Dust has no way to get in. And that is first tower pre-14 going over to Dibble. Very well executed from this Glaive White squad.
Oh, the macro is insane. They already started off very well with just a fantastic draft, and now this early game macro is really telling me that Glacial Esports need to change something, or they're just going to outright lose. They are almost 6K gold behind at 13 minutes, Finnick. It's huge here. That's just insane. That is an insane lead at this stage of the game. I don't think with the scaling comp that you have, at least from the Vigar and Ornn perspective, that there is a way into this game. I mean, the snowball is just so huge right now from Glaive.
Okay, so I might add, Skiz has a blasting one still. He is just sitting on a blasting one. By the way, he is actually going into the Hextech GLP. Ash gonna miss the arrow, but Xylandis still flashes out of the way as Glaive Demon goes unstoppable with the W onto the Karma. Here comes a Shockwave onto Skiz, though. He's already out of the event horizon. One more auto will do, and Stro 2's on a killing spree as they take the Infernal Dragon. If this is an Ocean Drake Soul, I think this is just it for Glaive White.
Yeah, if I'm on Glacial Esports and solo queue at the moment, it's FF15 go next for me there, Finnick. And I don't know if they can come back into this game. They have late game win conditions, of course, with the Ornn and the Vicar, but those to my mind are just so unreliable, right? I mean, if the only one really benefiting from your Ornn items is Vigar in the late game, at this stage anyway, I think the Varus as a win condition is probably right out, but it's going to be Chihuahua Dog in the top lane. No, they don't even go for Dibble there.
It's a Fiora.
That's super rough.
Completed Trinity Force. It's just like, what are you gonna do? Even if you're a Hecarim, you're going for the Cinder Hulk instead of the Warrior enchant, so you're not even doing all that much damage. Skiz, meanwhile, does have the completed Hextech GLP, but he's losing out on the damage on the trade. Still pops the ultimate. The flash is already there, and Toast picks up the kill.
Yeah,
you can't afford to use the Primordial Burst that early.
Yeah, exactly. To be honest, I mean, he misplays this trade for sure, but I think the real misplay is going for this fight at all. I don't think he can fight Toast there. Maybe he's just kind of tunnel visioning and thinking, hey, it's the ADC, I have tons of damage, maybe I can get this kill down. No, you're Glacial Augment Vigar. You do not do tons of damage at this stage of the game. You do, like, some damage.
You're looking for 3 items on Glacial Augment Vigar. You're not looking for 2 like you would in Arcane Comet. Once again, this build is very good for late game. And it's good if you have early game damage. However, your Varus is now behind. You're looking at a very, very difficult mid game, to say the least. You're almost 9,000 gold behind, 8.1 actually, at the moment. And this just feels disastrous for the Glacial Esports side, especially considering they were the #1 seed going into this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. That has to be the most stunning thing. Glaive is supposed to be giant killing right now, and they look like the Giants on Summonership. So a total upset in the classical definition of the word. I can't think of a more, a better example of an upset than this game would be right now. Joey Dessa in the top lane, desperately trying to defend his turret from Dibble, and he is just kind of failing slowly here. Xylandis and Epic Fail Guy are up there in the top side trying to provide some pressure, but they really just don't provide too much pressure, really. The map pressure from Glacial is super low at present time. Chihuahua Dog trying to clear some camps, but is so far behind at this stage. We can take a look at the individual gold for both of these junglers, and it is a 1,200 gold difference for Demon at this stage, despite being out-farmed by 10 CS. So if Demon had really kept up with CS and by a couple metrics, I think it would be, very insane. But
oh no, the Shockwave, here comes the flash, but here's the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, gets dodged out. Command Attack, Command Dissonance, Stro 2 on a rampage, 4, 1, and 5. About to hit the Rabadon's death cap, only about 220 gold away as we see Demon trade on a Xylandis in the mid lane. And you just win those trades as Demon. Here comes Orion. With the Unbreakable, gets a Q down, 1 auto, 2 autos, looks for the ultimate down. They're diving on his Islandis. He's stunned up under tower. Here comes Demon, and that should be the kill going over. Glaive Demons dominating 6-0-3, and about to complete everybody's favorite Righteous Glory.
Yeah, Righteous Glory here. I gotta say, this is probably the most disciplined Volibear I've ever seen. I feel like if I have the start the Demon has here after that triple kill, I'm like selling my jungle item and building Infinity Edge or something like that. Like just something crazy. Like, all right, it's time for the carry pants. No, he's building Righteous Glory. He's got Cinderhawk. He's got Merc Treads, just still building like your classic.
Throw 2, gonna flash. Here comes the ult from Chihuahua Dog, able to dodge out the shockwave. He's in with the command protect though. He gets 1, but it still goes over to Skiz. 1 for 1. Shutdown gold goes over to the Veigar. That is 900 gold in Skiz's pocket that he didn't have before, but the death cap is completed on Stro 2.
Definitely. So you win some, you lose some, right? At the end of the day, Skiz did have just enough damage to be able to take down Stro in that extended fight. To be honest, I feel like Demon, if he's playing a little bit more liberally, a little bit more aggressively there, could probably go for that kill onto Skiz, but isn't here. He might now. We'll see. He does have ult up, so he could go for this dive, but he's just kind of playing super safe. We see he's deathless on some of his Swift right now. So you might want to keep that up. He does have quite a bit of shutdown gold on him too.
Dibble just using the phage to dodge out every knockup from Joey Des. Like what? The phage procs from the Triforce is just like, well, see ya.
Yeah, it's not working. I'll like literally untouchable, especially up against Ornn, right? I mean, Ornn's not gonna be able to keep up with you. Dragon is going down solo to Demon here. This is something I'm not necessarily liking as much about Demon's jungling as the soloing objectives. It feels good, right? Because you're kind of like, all right, my team is doing great. I support them. They don't have to help me with this. I take this down a good amount of time. You are wasting a lot of your own time. We see he's like 3 CS over Chihuahua right now. Even if he got priority from like one other member on a couple of these objective takes, he could probably be like 30-40 CS ahead of Hecarim right now. It's a small thing, and it probably won't matter in the grand scheme of things, but that's the type of thing that gets you from, you know, being a good jungler to a great jungler.
That said, Joey Des, level 13, 1 off from being able to upgrade an item on his team. However, we take a look, and Triforce not completed for Chihuahua Dog. I think that's a little bit greedy if you already went for the Cinder Hulk, but I digress at that point. Veigar, though, nowhere near the death cap, and as he builds towards the Twin Shadows, that's just not an ornamentable item. Ornn has no one upgrade on the level 14 here. That feels so bad.
Yeah, and it's super weird, right? Because you have the Epic Fail guy who can go 2 builds. You can go on hit, or you can go lethality. One of those builds has an upgradable Ornn item. One does not for very long into the game. It's like rinse and repeat for Veigar, man. He's going Glacial Augment Veigar. There's no upgradable Ornn items for like a very long time. So Ornn's kind of standing there, like looking around like, who am I upgrading here? Is it the Triforce from the Hecarim is 2, 3, and 1 and doesn't have enough gold for Triforce? It's super strange how they're executing this comp right now. It is going to be Glaive going for Baron. They're taking it super slowly, but it doesn't really matter. And to be honest, they're not taking it that slowly. It's going down pretty fast, yeah. So they are just so far ahead right now. This is a 21-minute Baron right now, Finnick, and is going down incredibly fast.
I was like, can he get it with a command attack? No.
I feel like I'm losing my mind at seeing this team take objectives this quickly. That's nuts.
Yeah, 22-minute mark. Dibble super tanky right now, building even more tank with the Ruby Crystal and the Cloth Armor Demon. Turning around, here comes the stun, Chihuahua Dog, an easy ult to get up, and here comes the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, still gonna be blocked by Joey Des. That was very close to getting on a Chihuahua Dog.
For sure, it's a good look to be able to block that. Well played by Joey Des. Kind of delaying the inevitable, I would say. I don't want to flame too hard. Tower's going to go down the bot lane. He's engaged.
There's a 3-man knockup, though. Ends up popping the Bellows Breath into the Call of Force God. He's knocked up, looking for the follow-up, but he can't get it because he's blocked by the terrain. Here comes Skiz. Flash forward. Primordial Burst gets on to the 80 carry. Orion will be the next one to fall. Trying to trade back out of Joey Des, but he can't. It will be a 2-for-0 in the mid lane in favor of Glacial Esports, but they lose their bot lane tier 2 inhibitor tower and inhibitor for that play.
Yeah, and we see one of the few weaknesses. Dibble is probably going down here. I would think.
I mean, he's on the skiz. Flash on. Gets a
my
final block.
goodness.
And with the ultimate, still gets knocked up, though. Root comes in from the Karma, but is able to shield it with the riposte. Now an epic fail guy. He flashes, but he gets a double kill. Looking for Zylandis. Flashing. Not going to find him under the tower, though. Dashing back out. It's a 1v5 double kill, and Dibble gets out.
I'm caught in a Dionysian hellscape, Finnick. I don't know what's going on, but Dibble just 1v5 the enemy team in an invitational tournament. What is happening right now? Oh my goodness. But yeah, where do you begin? One of the few weaknesses of blind picking Ornn, first picking Ornn, is that you do occasionally get the counter pick of Yasuo and Braum coming through. We saw that in that last fight. Orion was able to block the Ornn horn, the elemental goat thing, so Ornn couldn't ult there. Such a huge counter, man. It feels so bad playing Ornn and your ult gets blocked like that, but here's the fight.
Here comes the Ryan. Rooted up by the Karma, Mantra Q down, but he's just tanking up the damage.
DC'd.
He DCs and the chains hit. So, unfortunate, but here comes Chihuahua Dog with the ultimate, able to get onto the carry. He's gonna get the stun down, and here comes the slam. Welcome to the jam, that's 2. Stro 2 gets a kill, and the Chihuahua Dog as Demon picks up the other in the fight. Here comes the Call of the Forge God as the 2-man ulti comes in from the Orianna. Demon goes godlike as he picks up the kill on the Veigar. TP coming in from Dibble, looking for more. Under tower, just needs to hit it once, and then they can dive. They're gonna opt to wait for the minions here. They have Baron buff. Here comes his dash. The tower hit. Looking for Joey Dust. Gonna get knocked up. Zylandis gets a root down on a demon, but it's not enough. He's legendary. He picks up the kill on the Ornn. The Braum reconnects as he respawns, and the mid inhib falls. Dibble taking the inhib for himself. Only has the top one to go before we get 6 super minions. This looks like they're going for the end of the game.
Yeah, I guess they're just going to casually end this game 4v5 without Orion, who's walking back to enemy base, but I don't think he's going to make it there in time to see the Nexus explode. Might have to see that one from a distance. It's just the super minions of Dibble taking it. Dibble could end the game right now. I think it'd be reset.
The Demon stopped him against the tower. Demon's legendary. As the root lands on a Stro 2, here comes Dibble in the back line, looking for Zylandis. He gets the kill off of the ultimate. Skiz now taking down super low. Double kill with Fiora. The ultimate from the Orianna will not get anyone as the cleanse comes in from Epic Fail Guy. Here comes the flash. Orion gonna get the ultimate on the Braum as the Nexus falls. And Glaive White move on to the next round.
I've said it a few times now, Finnick, but I don't know what is happening. Glaive should not have won this game. I mean, by any metric, going into the draft, and ever since then, ever since the moment this draft started, they have just won everything so hard. Draft was insane. They got everything they wanted, so many of their power picks down. They got great matchups in every single lane, I think. And yeah, as soon as we load on the Rift, literally every single thing went in the favor of Glaive Esports. I think the only advantage that Glacial ever got was Chihuahua had first blood, and that was it, man. Everything else went over to Glaive. They got all the dragons, they got the Rift Heralds, they got all the Barons, literally everything they could have asked for. I don't think Glacial took a turret. Yeah, no, they still have all the turrets, so a total stomp here.
Yeah, and looking at these post-game stats, we see Dibble 5-0-1. All those kills, by the way, except for the first one, happened like in the last 5 minutes of the game. He was just split pushing. He was doing Fiora things the entire time, and all of a sudden, you're at a 250 CS Fiora who's just able to 1v5 the enemy team. Demon playing like a demon on the Volibear, and they're like, you know, Toast did his Ashe things. Orianna was able to get a couple cool ultimates, but this is the Dibble Demon show by a long shot.
Absolutely. 2 deathless champions in an invitational tournament game. Very well played.
Yeah. Meanwhile, though, Glacial Esports will be moving down to the lower bracket, playing up against another 0-1 team from the first round. Feels bad, as they did come into the tournament as the number 1 seed. However, they can still technically make it to the third place match if they win the next game. So we'll see how well they play. Any final words here before we go to a break?
Nah, I got nothing. I'm speechless, Finnick. I'll have to listen into the analysis.
Yeah, and that is actually the first match of the bracket that has completed. So we do not know who the next team or the next game will be, but it will be the winner of World Class Outlaws versus Emergent, and of Ironic versus Red Panda. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with game number 2 as soon as we have that info. See you after the break.